Okay, well, today we are at the Goodwill, and we have not been to this Goodwill in a while. So I'm hoping that means that we are going to find lots of treasures and fill our cart. But I can't be too optimistic. I have to have some level of reality, otherwise, I'm going to be disappointed. So let's head in and see what we can find that we can flip for our profit. Here we go. So the first thing I came across were these two figurines, and they did not appear to be a pair. And as you can see, one of them was damaged, so I left them there. Now, this is usually where they have a lot of baskets, but the basket section was a little sparse today. There wasn't much in the way of baskets, so I just kind of breezed through. I did find two bottles here. One was a dog and one was a cat, and I've pulled up comps on these. There was one comp for 15 and one for 75. So that's like a really big difference, and I'm not sure what to expect, but I didn't pay very much for them, so I'd be happy with 20 or 30. There were some crayons and markers here on the shelf, and Juliet is really into art, so I did decide to grab her one pack of crayons and one pack of markers. A lot of people ask me if I ever get anything for Ashton, and I do occasionally, but he is just very into video games and not so much into art, so it's rare. I really liked this dish with the florals. Unfortunately, you can see there is a chip on the little bowl. So I kind of took a look at the mark there and turned it over to see there was another mark on the bottom. And I decided I would stick it in my cart and look it up just to see what the comps were on it in good condition to decide whether or not I wanted to purchase it with a tiny chip on it. And in the end, even in good condition, it just didn't have a very high resale value, and so I ended up leaving that behind. There were some dolls here, and I decided to take a closer look at these. They looked like traditional dolls of some sort. I'm not sure if they were Ukrainian, possibly Russian. I could be totally off on that. Not sure. Now, I did like this dish, and it reminded me slightly of some Royal Dalton creamer and sugar pieces that we have seen recently, but I don't think that was the case. Now I found another bag of dolls. This was for $4.99. It was a whole bag, and the reason I considered them was because of this gentleman here in the front. And the way that he was put together, I liked the way his hands were formed and also his face. There was just a quality about him that set him apart from the others. And so I did decide to grab this bag of dolls. Those knives are making me a little nervous. I noticed this on the other shelf and I grabbed it. You could see I was very enthusiastic about this. It was $1.99. It was marked Dylan on the back. I have purchased these in the past. These are shortbread molds and they do pretty well. I believe it's a local artist and I have sold them in the past, so I knew exactly what that was and I could not grab it fast enough. Clearly. There was some brass there, nothing spectacular in my opinion. I found the praying hands, though. Look at that. That was kind of an odd looking teapot. There was a pair of candlesticks here. I liked the cream and gold contrast, but I didn't expect there was much resale value there. And this decanter, I believe it's a decanter, it was very odd. The whole thing to me was, there was something off about it. The stopper didn't seem right, and so I left it. Now there was a whole figurine of squirrels here. This was kind of exciting. Unfortunately, there was some damage, but this reminded me very much of Gary and his new girlfriend, Fiona. For those of you who don't know, Gary is our dumpster squirrel pet that we occasionally feed, so he does not eat out of our actual dumpster. That was plastic. I expected it to be glass, and it was plastic. Now, these were interesting, and I kind of went back and forth on these, and I actually have a little regret about not grabbing them. But you know what? I'm sure somebody came along and grabbed them, and they were magnificent. But this little dish was full of angel figurines. They were nice. They were $4.99. I just wasn't sure about them, and so I ended up leaving them behind. I hate having those feelings of regret from the Goodwill for, $4.99. I should have grabbed them, but I didn't. I did like this plate, but there was a modern marking on the bottom, hand painted by something Pat, and that kind of scared me off just a little. Now, I did like this little red bowl here. I believe it's a soup bowl. It was 99 cents, but the colors were so vibrant on it, and I figured, that would look really great with a succulent. So I grabbed it. Yes, I did, for 99 cents. You could also put soup in it if you really wanted to. I mean, that's its purpose. There was a Teleflora vase there. I don't see a very high value in Teleflora, so I usually leave it, but occasionally I will pick up certain pieces. That was interesting. It was only 99 cents. It was vintage, but I passed. Now, I did like this cookware set. It was strawberries. It was 1970s, 1980s. There was a whole set there. I considered it, but I didn't want to really mess with it. This reminded me of Royal Beirut, and unfortunately it was damaged. Lots of empty shelves there on the bottom, you can see. They were in the process of restocking, so I'm not sure if they had recently cleared and they were just getting the new stock up. A lot of the times they do that at our Goodwills. They'll clear the entire store and then they'll move all the new stock in. And that's always such an exciting time for us because it means new treasures are about to hit the shelves. Now, I did grab this art pottery bowl, and the reason I grabbed it is because of that glass on the bottom. It was marked Jan Hawks. I believe that's what it was marked. And I'd never seen this before. So I decided, you know what? No regrets. If I was going to regret that Native American piece, I was not going to regret this. And so I grabbed it. I considered the dressing for a moment, but I prefer my dressing not fat-free, with lots of fat. These were made in China. Now this, I think this was Ellie Smith. I'm doubting myself now on these pieces because someone had posted in my Facebook group about similar pieces being reproduced in China. And so now I'm second guessing myself on these. But normally when you see these pieces, they are made by Ellie Smith. But now I'm doubting myself. That was some sort of apple cooker. We've got some silver overlay here. It was 99 cents. It looked like the leg or the foot there had been repaired. This on the bottom was marked, hand painted by Pat. Pat was really into hand painting china. And I'm not sure who Pat is. So unfortunately, I passed on that as well. Now, I did browse the artwork. I have gotten some good artwork here in the past, but there wasn't really any artwork that spoke to me on this particular trip. Now, I found this plate here on the shelf. I suspect it's supposed to be Mount Fuji. There were no markings on the back, but I liked the plate. It was $2.99. And I decided to grab this, even though it's a single plate. I usually try to steer clear of single plates. They've been a weakness for me in the past, but something about this plate, I just decided to grab it. This dish was very interesting, and it was very heavy, and I'm not sure who makes it, but it was kind of ornate in that it had the etching, it had the fish, and it had the different compartments with the etching. I thought it was interesting. It was $3.99, but it wasn't something I wanted to ship, and it wasn't what I envisioned for my booth, so I left it. There was a lady over there who was so excited about everything she found on her shelf. She was like freaking out. She was like, "Oh my gosh, will you look at this electric wok? It's amazing." And I was just like, I wish I could be that excited about everything that I find, because she was like the highlight of my day. She made everything exciting at the Goodwill. And I wish that I could be more like her. This was an art glass bowl, but you can see there on the bottom, this is like not what I'm looking for. This is very clouded. It is not polished. It is not good art glass. So I did pass on that. I wasn't sure exactly what this was. I wasn't sure if it was a flower frog or if it was a toothbrush holder. It's up for debate. You can debate it in the comments if you'd like. Now, I did pick this up, and it was marked on the bottom. It was marked on the bottom, glass olive vase for $1.99, made in China. Yes, but the shape of it was interesting to me because it looked like an olive. And so I decided to carry it around for a little while and then decide whether or not I wanted it. In the end, I didn't want it. I put it back on the shelf. What are these? Nothing. Now, I did find a teapot and I liked it. I went to go turn it over and I realized the lid was not taped down. I almost lost the lid. It was a very scary moment. Of course, I'm breezing through the clear glass because I can't get it out of my head. I always have to check the clear glass now. It's like a curse. That looked like a leaf on the bottom, which was a little interesting, but not interesting enough. And this was marked made in China. I'm not opposed to things made in China, but those stickers, I would prefer not to have made in China stickers. Marks, I might consider. Then I spotted these. Now, these are Fenton, and they are swirl ashtrays, but they don't have to be ashtrays. I feel like they could be used as dishes just because they're multi-purpose. And they were only $1.99 each. Now, this was the moment that I did set this back on the shelves because I realized that it just didn't have the best resale value. And it would have been a hassle to ship. This is a Hummel knockoff. It's, that's just what it's $2.99. It's made to look like a Hummel figurine, but it is not. Whether or not you want to define that as a knockoff is, it's up to you. This was a vanity tray. I just wasn't completely sold on the design. Now, I did find this beautiful, beautiful lamp. And it was unfortunate because I would have expected it to have a globe shade on it. It was $9.99 and there was no shade. So you could have put a chimney on it and that would have been okay, but a shade would have really completed that lamp. And so I did pass. There was a hand-painted bowl on this shelf. It was marked W. Kimball, but on the back, it was marked made in China, which was very confusing to me because I was like, oh, hand-painted. And then I was like, wait a second. I don't know anyone from China with the last name Kimball. But I could be wrong. My best friend growing up's last name was Zhang, and she was from China. So, I mean, that's very far from Kimball. Got some milk glass. Now, this wooden lamp, I did take a closer look at this because it kind of looked like it could be mid-century. I liked the tile. The wood was sad. It needed to be refinished. And unfortunately, the metal was very oxidized. It had some rust on it. And it was not something that I really wanted to mess with. Got a lot of 1980s on that shelf. A lot of it. Now, I did find this, and this was probably one of my regrets from this trip to the Goodwill because I did buy it, and I paid $14.99 for it. It was marked Bombay Company, and the original purchase price was $35. You can see it's got one of those little made in China stickers on the bottom, but I bought it anyway. And I bought it because it had those really cool cats on the front, if I'm being honest. It's got tigers and lions and a zebra. And so I bought it. I think it's really cool. And I think I could probably get $35 for it, which was its original purchase price. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence about this. And I think I may have made a mistake. And then I found this little guy, and he was just adorable. He was $2.99. Andrew has not seen him yet, so he has not been tested. But I believe he's a whistle. I cannot say for certain if he works or not. There was a fish here. A few dishes. I've been turning over a lot of modern dishes after I found some really good dishes at one of the Goodwills I was at, and they were modern. This reminded me of the other dish I picked up, however, it was marked Pier 1. So I did leave this one behind because it was not a studio pottery, it was just a Pier 1 piece. Look at me going the wrong way. Goodness gracious, it's a good thing they're not busy. Oh wait, I didn't go the wrong way. Look at that. There were some fake candles here, and I considered these because we can't have real candles because we have parrots. So this was a serious consideration. I did end up buying these. These are bed risers. And one of the issues with Walter and shipping is that Walter is very high and the shipping table is low, and it hurts his back. So we are going to try to rise up his shipping table so that it's easier on his back. We've got some artwork there. I did find this mug. I'm not sure if it's for coffee or if it's for beer. I mean, it could go either way depending on how much you like your coffee or how much you like your beer. It was very large. It was marked GMC on the side, under the handle, obviously. And I really liked it. So I did end up grabbing this. I stuck it in the cart. There was no damage on it. And that's pretty much it. I feel like I got a lot of decent stuff today. I did not grab that though. All right, well, our total spend there was about $53. I'm pretty pleased with everything we got. You know, I was weirdly excited about that shortbread mold. Mostly because I have found those before, and those do relatively well, so I was like, oh, I know what that is, and I couldn't grab it fast enough, through the shelf even. And I feel like that little box from Bombay, even though it was $15, it had an interesting subject matter, and that's why I grabbed that. I'm sure I explained it in the voiceover. But anyway, I think I'm going to get out of here now, and I am going to go pick up the kids from school because it is Friday. It's the weekend, yes! But anyway, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Later.